Welcome to Leaders Lead Podcast. I'm super excited with this podcast. What we're doing is we're sitting down and we're talking to some amazing leaders across the country. We're learning cool things about them. We're learning where did they get their leadership style from? How did they adapt that leadership style? What are they changing? What are some things that they need to work on? I want you to tune in to listen to Leaders Lead Podcast. Every single week, we're going to have new content for you. We're streaming on all the major platforms, so look out for Leaders Lead Podcast. Hey. Welcome, everybody, to Leaders Lead, the broadcast, the podcast. What else can I say? I don't know. The amazing show where I have amazing guests. And today, you will not be disappointed. We're talking to one of my good friends, one of my best friends. I can call you my best friend, right? One of my best friends, Rachel Beck. She is an author. She is amazing. She is inspiring. She's wonderful. How you doing today, Rachel?
Thank you so much for your kind words. And I could say a million wonderful things about you. I think I would, I just had you on my show and it was such an honor and privilege to hear more about you and what you're doing and what you've done.
Don't try to turn this around. This is about you.
Your story and everything that you've done and that you're out here every day inspiring people. So I give you a standing ovation.
Oh, I appreciate that. I appreciate that so much. A lot of people, I was just on in case you all have never seen this show, it's not like some interview where I'm like, what's this? And you feel like you're on an interview with this, man. I just talk to people, and it's almost, for me, it's like getting the life lessons from the kitchen table, but it's a little bit different. It's a little bit different. We got some amazing people, and I want to learn. And if you all have any questions while we're going through this broadcast, please let me know. And if you're listening to this on the podcast, send me a message, and I'll make sure that those questions get to Rachel. So info@TonyTaylorInspires.com. Rachel, with this show, Leaders Lead.
Okay, all right.
You're good. With this show, Leaders Lead the podcast, a lot of people think that I'm going on here and I'm talking about a bunch of boring leadership stuff. I'm talking about, look at the metrics and all of this management mumbo jumbo. But for me, when I think of a leader, I think of somebody like you. I think of somebody that's been through some adversity, overcome adversity, and they show up every single freaking day like you do, and they serve. Where did that come from with you, as far as having that given mentality?
Because honestly, Tony, people are hurting. They're hurting now more than they ever have. You and I talk about this because I'm an empath and you're an empath. Mm-hmm. People are hurting, and it's serious. They're concerned about financial stress. They're concerned about losing their jobs. They're losing their family members. They're in a hospital with COVID right now. They're alone. There is some serious things going on with my network, like very, very serious. So it's a conscious choice. It's a choice for you and I as leaders right now in the middle of a pandemic, what you and I have been doing, to say, okay, we're going to help get you through to the other side. And you and I have no idea when that's going to end. We have absolutely no clue. That's the reality of it. So it's a choice. I have very strong views on the word leader. Okay. Mm-hmm. I don't believe that you're just given that title. Okay. I believe that you better earn it, and you better earn it right now in the middle of this pandemic, meaning that one, I've seen the worst leadership this last year and a half, and I've seen the best, right? Meaning that there are people who have abandoned people we know about the companies doing layoffs and fire, my friends getting fired over Zoom or a freaking email, to the people who are still pushing, and not understanding that people need the help right now, that they need it. Yeah. And to me, it's like you earn it. Also, you don't abandon. You and I were talking about this the other day. I haven't taken a vacation in a year and a half because I'm getting my I want to get my network through this. And then you'll see a post one day that says, taking 4 days off. But it's important right now because some of them, they need that every day. There are many people who are still locked down, and they need to know, okay, well, I need some kind of stability in my life. I need something that is going to be there every day.
Yeah. Did you say, I started smiling because that goes back to what I was talking about as far as leading. You said that you haven't taken a year and a half off because you want to get your network of people through this freaking pandemic through the inspiration of your content. Wow. That is so you hold them near and dear to your heart, right?
Oh, very much so. My network knows I love them. They know that I'm behind them. They know that I'm going to, support with them and engage with them. And that's another big thing leaders do. You ready? I see it all the time. They like my thing on leading is this. I'm in the back. I'm not in the front of my network. I'm in the back because I'm trying to push them all forward. I'm trying for all their dreams to come true. And that's a big part of leadership. It's not standing in the front. No, it's standing in the back, and you make sure that nobody is left behind. You push them forward right now because that's what they need.
Wow. You have over, I was looking at your profile, just kind of fanning out a little bit on you. And you have over 200,000 plus followers, correct?
Yes, and I'm very grateful. I don't talk about numbers. You'll never see me do that. You'll never see me, you've never seen me once drop a post about numbers because it's not about. Yeah, and I'm very, I'm just blushing because I don't talk about numbers if you ask this question. And I'm grateful, and I'm appreciative, and I always end my week on Friday saying thank you. Yeah, because I'm always grateful, I'm always humbled, and I'm always appreciative of my network.
Wow. And I asked you that for a reason, because there's a lot of people that, look at the connections that I have and they're just like, oh my God, how do I get to that point? How do I get to that point? And I always say that it takes a lot. I know my wife, man, she puts up with me like back and forth, like through the DMs. I'm talking people in situations. I'm talking people out of situations because I hold the people that I'm connected to like dearly. If I see a post, I don't care what country they're in, what city they're in. If I see a post where it sounds like they're in trouble, I'm reaching out to them. So for anybody that's listening, one thing that I take away from Rachel is that she's a giver. She is a leader because she is not out here trying to get followers. She don't even want to talk about the numbers. Right? Don't want to talk about the numbers, but yeah, but that's why people follow you. People follow you because you are a giver. And with that being said, I mean, you take days off. I don't know if you mind me saying this, but you have a regiment when it comes to following up with the people in your network, right?
Very much so. Very, very much so. So I post like Monday through Fridays when I put content out. And then Saturday and Sunday is about giving back to my network. So like you and I were talking about the other day, so I'll spend a couple hours, Saturday and Sunday morning going through my feed and giving back to my network. And that is the biggest mistake people make. That is it right there. They don't do that. They don't take the time. And I tell my network that when I do tips for success, I'm like, are you giving back to your network? Like that is really, really cool. And you'll know, and I know the biggest influencers on this platform, that's what we do. You'll see us running around on the weekend, spending time giving back to our network because it's crucial. It's our way of saying thank you. My network understands Monday through Friday. I'm doing meetings, I'm filming, I'm doing phone calls. I work 16 hours a day, and I'm usually, that's how my schedule is. So I take that time during the weekend and I run through.
Wow. Where does that come from as far as given to people like that? Because I look at a lot of people in your posts, and like you said, they're hurting, and I feel like you feel, and I might be misspeaking, but I get a sense that you feel responsible for them.
I do. Your leader. See, people make this like disconnect on social media, right? They think that because of our screens, that no, that's not how to. These are real relationships. These are real bonds that are made, and it's serious. There's some of these I've been friends with for years. Like years. So if I know, something's going on in their life that they discuss with me, like privately, because I have a vault with my friends and I don't break that. So it's yeah, it really matters. The friendships matters. So if you're not doing that and you're just, not engaging, not having that communication and building that friendship, because that's what it comes down to. That's truly what it comes down to.
Wow. Wow. You're amazing. You're amazing. I know you don't like hearing it. but you have to know.
Thank you.
Yeah, no, that's a special gift. A lot of people may or may not know this about you is you're a pretty good author.
Oh, thank you. Right, it's really healing for me. It's how I express myself. I write a lot, whether it's poetry, writing a full or writing pieces that are going to like a magazine. That I have friends who reach out like, Rachel, I have a magazine. Can you, write this piece? And so it's about it for me. It taps into things that I need to heal because what people have a big misconception. You and I have talked about it privately. Is that what? Our lives are great, wonderful, perfect. No, no, and no. And I just discussed that in a video. So it's how I deal with painful moments in my life because I might not be able to verbalize it, but I do it through art and through writing.
Wow. So it's pretty much it's cathartic for you, right?
Extremely. And it might not, every word that you see me write in a post, there was a lot of thought that went into it. I took my time. I didn't just, put it out there. Because again, I hold that responsibility for the words that I'm putting out into this world. So it's a deep thought, like write a post, sleep on it for 1 or 2 days, think about it, or, is this a good message to put into the world?
Yeah. Yeah, it's funny. A lot of people say, "Oh man, it's just social media. Social media isn't real. Nobody has any true friends through social media. It's a fake life." Like, what do you think when people say that?
That's on them. That's
Yeah.
on them. If they are just not building the bonds with people, that's on them. I mean that. No, look, you and I, we know the importance of building the friendships. We know of like me going, hey, Tony, guess what? I have an opportunity. Let me introduce you to this person. So it is building.
You just did that
Yeah,
yesterday.
exactly. I wanted you to meet this person. Like that's how it works.
Yeah.
So if you're having that like disconnect, and if you're using social media, let me say this the right way because I see it all. I see people using it the wrong way all the time, and it's sad to watch. It really is sad to watch. And you and I are choosing to use it the right way. We're choosing to use it in a positive way. We're choosing to say, this is how it can be done.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
I see people doing
Wow.
it the wrong way every week, every single week.
When you say what's the what do you mean by like the wrong way? I know what you're saying. I want everybody else to hear it.
You know what I'm saying? Okay.
Yeah, I know what you're saying. I want it.
Putting out this horrible negative message right now in the middle of the pandemic that we've been in since last March, when people are hurting. I've had my network straight up tell me in the comment section, I can't even be around negativity right now because my life is so negative, like worried about everything, homes, jobs, what's going on, serious stuff. Okay, so that none of them want to be around negativity anymore, especially now. They don't want things that they don't want to be around posts that are not offering value. Are they going to walk away learning something? Are they going to gain something? And that's what you and I have talked about, because we're really big on that. I want my network I woke up last March and went, oh my God, we got locked in. And it said my network I was really concerned about them. So that's when I started the show a year and a half ago. I said, okay, I'm worried about their mental well-being, their emotional well-being, and I'm going to do this show, bring people on, educate them, give them tools while they're locked in the house to move forward. Because I was worried about that.
Wow.
So it's like, if you're not providing value, if you're just take. The takers, you and I have talked about this because we know about the takers. We've talked about it privately.
Oh, yeah.
It's the givers on this platform that are the ones who are going to succeed. I tell my network all the time that those are the people who are succeeding on this platform. It's the givers. It's not the takers. It's not the takers. It's the selfless people. Those are the ones who are going to go woo all the way to the stars.
Yeah, I agree with that.
That's exactly what happens.
Yeah, I agree with that. I know we were talking before we went live here. We were talking about just that, like the takers, and how, I'm pretty sure a lot of people that are in your DMs right now, if you freaking scroll up like I did at one point in time, you made a connection to them and maybe they ignored you, but now they're like, yeah. And now they're like, hey, Rachel, can you post this for me? Hey, Tony, can I be on your podcast? And now I'm just like, wait, I thought you were too big for me, or like what is that about? Like with taken and people that just take. It's almost like they feel entitled to the blessings instead of working for them.
That's one thing I've seen during this pandemic, and it's been hard for me to watch, is the amount of entitlement has gone up, and up. And it's sad to watch. And so I tell my network all the time, don't dismiss people in the beginning of their journey, because 1 year, guess what? You might need their help. So I had someone do that to me. And I don't know, it was like at 1,000. I don't know what it was at. It was under like 2,000 followers at the time. Mm-hmm. And I'll leave the name out, but the person had written me like a message, you doing everything well.
I'm so messy. I'm thinking in my head, who is it? Tell me, I want to know who it is.
You're never going to be successful. You don't have what it takes. You're never going to do this. And so like, I'm very conscious when the people are starting out in their journey to support them, whether they have 10 followers, 20 followers. We all started at zero. That's the reality of it. I also am blessed because I have incredible mentors on this platform who have been phenomenal, who believed in me from day one when I was at like 10 followers and gave me really good advice. And now I'm trying to pay that forward. So when I do the tips for success, I'm like, okay, this is what you need to do, X, Y, Z. So it's about, but yeah, so I understand what you're saying. I don't believe in dismissing people. I'm not talking about when people write me a nasty comment and direct message and I'm like, goodbye. That's not you and I have talked about those. Yeah. I'm talking about like someone who's like, oh, I just need like a little help. I mean, there's certain things people do wrong on this platform. I mean, if you want to be honest, there's top 5 things people are doing wrong right now. So,
yeah. You want? I want to know. Yeah. No, yeah.
Okay. So 1, stop dropping your posts in direct messages. That is, and I just discussed it with one of my friends today because he's like, man, I just can't. We use direct messages for business, set everything up, meetings. It's how we introduce people to each other. So I give people one warning and I say, listen, I really want you to succeed. People are going to block you if you do this. So please stop dropping your post in my box.
Yeah. So what that means, in case you guys don't understand, you all don't understand, is making a post on LinkedIn or whatever social media site that is, and then turning around and DMing that post to other people so that they can comment, like, or whatever on that post. So go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah, I've told my network always says thank you, because it drives me nuts. My friends will text me and so I've come to the point where I just block people. Like I've lost. I just said it. I think it was like last Friday. I did a video with friends and said, don't push that friendship to the point. Hey, how are you? Hi, Harmony. Is that you?
So you're like me. That's so funny. When I see comments, I go, oh man, like that's what I the positive comments, like I love that. It gives me such a good feeling, and it puts you in like a really high vibrational state. I can tell. Yeah.
But it's so it's explaining now. Okay, that's one mistake they make, right? I'm heading out to my next one. Okay. Have a good night, Harmony. So that's a problem that people are doing. You start losing respect for them. Usually, Tony, half the time they go, thank you so much, Rachel, and they never do it again. Then you have the people who just keep doing it, so you just end up blocking them. That's number one. Number two, that's one of the biggest mistakes because it builds resentment. The other, number two, I would say is you and I are responsible for every word we put out on social media. We're deeply conscious that we would never do anything to hurt our careers, hurt our futures. It's the comments people make. And let me explain why, because there is logic to this. Mm-hmm. So because I'm maxed out, right? What I do is I go to your post. Okay? Let's say you drop a post, tag me and jump over. If I see people are being very kind to you, I go through that entire post and I start following those people. I look for that positive message. That's what I do. And I go click, 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 because I can't, connect with them, but I can jump in there and I can follow them. That's the second mistake they make. Their negative comments it's closing their doors. They really won't have much of a future of success or a chance of success. So what do you think of that one? So those two.
No, I love it. And I started smiling because that's one thing that you checked me on before was I would have a bunch of positive comments, and then I would get the one person that would say something about my color or something about just crazy stuff. And my thinking, right, here's my thinking before. And for you all that are watching this is why mentorship is important, because a good mentor will show you your blind spots. You might think that, okay, I'm doing this for a reason and I'm going to get this outcome, but a good mentor, somebody that's in your life, somebody that's given to you, somebody that looks out for your best interests will kind of show you the mirror and say, no, this is not what it's doing. And that's what you did for me. You're like, listen, those people that are saying the negative things in your network is creating hate and discontent. You might think that you're educating people by letting people know that these people exist, but what it's doing is causing the good people, or the people that have good intentions for you and for your people, to respond. So therefore, you are a part of the hate. You need to start blocking those people. And I'm like, okay.
Yeah, we're talking about that because let's talk about this. This is a 7-hour discussion. You said something perfect. Let's be real. We are both minorities on this platform. I've had a share of racist things sent to me, whether it's in DM or it'll pop up, in comment section. intolerable. It's intolerable. Like it cannot exist on this platform. It just can't. And so you and I also use our voices to say that racism needs to stop. We deal with it enough outside in our lives. There's no way I'm going to tolerate it here.
Yeah.
Like, I'm just not.
Yeah, you shouldn't. You
I've
shouldn't.
been called the same names you've been called.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I definitely don't want any part of that.
Yeah, and it sucks. It's hurtful. It's like no matter what, I don't care who that person is. I mean, it brings you lower just seeing that stuff, just hearing those words being directed at you. My wife, we were going through and we were doing some social media stuff, and she was like, "Oh my God, you got all of these people blocked. What?" I don't mess around. I don't.
That's it.
Yeah, I don't mess around.
It's a one-time thing. Like if you know, so I was explaining to you that I use my heart as a guide, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if somebody elevates it in a way that does not work for me, it's goodbye. It's goodbye. I trust my body telling me if it raises an anxiety level in me, or they are a trigger for me because of having PTSD, and I'm big on protecting our mental health.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you're not healthy for me, and I'm
Yeah.
okay with that. So that would be another tip I would say: protect your mental health.
I love that.
It's crucial.
I love that. Look like we got some comments on other platforms. I can't pull them up. I
I know. I don't even know how you do it.
I'll just go off of here. Your because we've spoke before. Can you speak on, because I think your background has a lot to do with the way that you move right now. Can you speak on your background and how you grew up and went through, your identity to bring you to this point of today?
Yeah, I was born in India. My mother died 2 days after giving birth. I'm looking for my biological father. I was adopted by a white Jewish family and came here when I was 11 months old. So I'm an Indian Jewish woman, and I'm freaking proud of all that. Let me say that. And it took me years to get comfortable in my skin because I didn't fit in. I didn't fit in anywhere. And in reality, I didn't fit in with, I didn't fit with, the Caucasian population. I didn't fit in with the African American population. I went through a tremendous amount of bullying in high school, a tremendous amount. So I really didn't get comfortable. And this year, I shared with you personally, I had some of the scariest racist events in my life happen this year. That's reality of it. Oh, hello, Francis. How are you? Hello. So thank you. I'm sorry to hear that you get that a lot too. So that's part of it. And then finding my way, if I really find my place in society. People have tried to put people in a box. I'm not one of those people. I threw out the box. I'm not your typical woman at all whatsoever. And so I'm using my voice also for those other women to say, okay, who you are is who you are. You don't have to defend it anymore.
Yeah, that's beautiful. I like that you said that you're using your voice to also empower other women. Do you think that we do that enough on this platform?
Oh, you're gonna say post tomorrow, my friend.
No.
You are.
Give me a sneak peek. Give me an exclusive.
Well, because, I talk about, because I get it's shock. Not people in my network, but women who are just kind of jumping in. Tear me up. They tear me up for my looks. They tear me up for this, and I immediately block them and stuff. They just say the nastiest comments ever. That will come, and so I have zero tolerance for that, and I block them because women need to support other women, and I am so freaking passionate about that. I think it's crucial, and it's definitely crucial as minority women. So I was explaining that for you might understand this. So I feel, because I know what I've gone through and I'm going for big things in life. As a minority woman in this country, I feel like for people who work 100%, I got to give it 200%. And that's how I hit this freaking ground every day. Why? Because it's even harder as a minority woman to open those doors. It is even harder for us to do that.
I'm glad you said that, because there's some people with the frame of mind that here in America, we all have the same opportunities.
No, it doesn't work that way. It does not work that way. Like you and I both know that it doesn't work that way. So it comes down to just people who have already judged us before we walked in the door.
Yeah,
and that's how it is. And that's why I was just discussing this with somebody, and we were talking about if we felt that our photos and our faces should be on a resume, right? And he runs a whole job thing, and it's to help employers. He's helping he's helping job seekers.
Yeah.
So what do you think about that? I said no. I said, because because they're already going to take my resume and go, no, thank you. I said, I want them to look at my resume, see the things that I've done. And then if they turn me down when I walk in the door, that's a different story. That's on them. And I don't want to be with them because I'll see it in their face. I'll see it in their face because it's like, oh, there's a look. Yeah. Oh,
isn't that crazy though? Isn't that crazy that we live in a society where we really feel, because I have the same sentiment as you, where we feel like in order to get a job or in order to get an opportunity, whether it's to take care of your family, take care of yourself, that we have to hide some part. Still, even trying to live an authentic life, we have to hide a form of our identity because we feel like we won't get the job if we show our face.
Well, I think that it's, people, I think now you and I are like, we're done. We're going to use our voice. We're going to stand up. We're going to be proud of who we are. And we're going to teach other people. I want to open the door for minorities. But hey, Brandon, I want to open the door for minorities in this country. I stand behind everyone. Listen, my parents are white. I am adopted by Indian Jewish family. They, so when my mom and I are out, the comments that we get sometimes are horrible. It's just like, oh, are you her caregiver? Are you her housekeeper? Are you her nurse? Something.
Oh my! They say that to you?
Oh yeah, and then I'm like, my mom and I are like, my mom goes, no, that's my daughter. Like, that's my daughter. So there's always, there's that connotation. Or I've been accused. You want to hear a funny story? I appreciate this.
Yeah. So
a couple of years ago, I'm dropping my mom off to the doctor, and she's healthy and wonderful. This a couple of years ago, and I dropped I'm very close to my parents. I dropped my mom off at the front door, being a good daughter, right? And then parked the car. By the time I had walked from the parking lot back to the doctor's office, I was accused of stealing my mother's car. Someone had run into the office and said, there's a colored person, she's stealing your car. And so my mom's from New York. She doesn't mess around. She stood up and she's like, it's my daughter. That's my daughter you're talking about. She's parking the car for me. So we deal with that a lot. When we're together, my father and I deal with it. But we've learned, people are always going to ask questions. It's how we respond. I've had a woman yelling at me, like in the store, why aren't you helping me? Why aren't you helping me? And I'm standing next to my mom. I'm like, what's going on? Because we're shopping. Wow. I'm like, I don't work here. And she's like, well, what do you mean you don't work here? And I have done retail. I've done it in my 20s, was a waitress, and I can tell you many stories about that.
Yeah.
And I said, what's going on here? Why are you yelling at me? I'm like, I don't even work. And then she said, well, I just assumed. And my mom's like, my daughter doesn't work here. I think you're if you need help, like ask the person in the store. Like,
Oh my God.
yeah, I can
Wow.
tell you many stories of things that have happened when I put my been out to dinner with friends. One of my best friends. Okay, she lives in Jersey now, but she used to live here. We went out to dinner, right? And you know how you go to dinner and like you split the bill? So somebody might do cash, someone's doing a credit card. So I was doing my credit card, she was doing cash. Waiter takes it, walks away. And when I'm not gonna say the name of this restaurant because you guys have all eaten there, I promise you that. And so the waiter comes back and returns. My friend, was Caucasian and she's one of my best friends. He gives a credit card back to her. And my best friend goes, who's from New York too, another one who doesn't take any crap, and goes, what are you doing? That's not my credit card. That's her credit card. The waiter turns and looks at me and goes, she can't afford to have a credit card. Yeah, yes. So this is kind of stuff, and I was and so I got up and I left. I was like, I can't. And my friend was like, I will, and goes, Rach, I got it from here. Go ahead, sweetie. Just go outside. I'll take care of it. So these are the things. My friend and I did a psychological experiment. She was getting her master's, right?
Yeah.
In some field. And she said, okay, Rach. She didn't believe me that people follow me in the stores. She didn't believe me, right? And she's doing this paper on theories. So we go into the store. She goes right, I go left, and she counted 3 people following me. And we left, and she's doing a paper on all this a couple years back. And she goes, holy, you know what?
Yeah.
It says,
holy shit.
Yeah. And she goes, I believed you, but like until I saw it, like what's, going on? I was kicked out of the store because someone told me that.
It's almost like the phrase, you don't know what I've been through until you walked a mile in my shoes.
Well, she saw it, and she knows this is a close friend of mine, so she was heartbroken. She was like,
wow,
oh,
man.
I've been through it all. I'm kicked out of a store because it was really funny. You'll appreciate this. I was going to buy a couple years back a gift for my parents, right? It was like a housewarming gift. I go into the store. I'll leave the name out. And I wanted to get something really pretty for them, and waiting. No one's helping me. And there was like a piece I wanted to get behind glass. It was going to be like an art piece. So waiting. But I really wanted the piece and said, okay, what is going on? Finally, this person comes up and says, excuse me, I'd really like to buy that piece behind there. Can I, please see it? I'd like to pay for it. I wanted to go. And I was like in a rush. And the person looks at me and goes, you can't afford that. I was so upset, right?
Oh my God.
I left. I left. I said, first of all, I'm not spending my money here. So that was a mistake on their part. I'm going to spend my money, somewhere else. And she's like, you just can't afford that. And you've seen the movie Pretty Woman. I love it. That's one of my favorite movies. That scene when she goes back the next day and was like, oh, you work on commission? Big mistake. Huge. I felt like that.
Wow.
This kind of stuff,
how do you protect yourself mentally? Because that's like freaking, that's a lot of abuse to be taken in a lifetime. That's a lot. How do you mentally,
this year was horrible. You wouldn't believe what happened to me this year. I use my voice to make it stop. It's my way of taking that power back. I'll be honest with you, Tony. I'll have a day or two where I don't get off the couch because every racist experience I have is a trigger for me. For the other ones that happen, I've had some very, very scary experiences. Oh, you'll appreciate this. You were a firefighter. Ready?
Mm-hmm.
So it was a really sad story. On a street that I used to live in, my neighbors had a massive fire. Okay. And so and it was a huge snowstorm, right? And so it was just tragic. Everybody was out of the house and safe, and we're unloading the house, and the firemen are there. So my neighbor had said to me, There's a line and they're all traumatized and we're taken. It was a really close street. Really, I don't live there anymore. It was a very close street. So we're unloading, getting to the car, saving everything could be saved.
Wow, sounds like a close neighborhood.
Very, very close neighborhood. I lived there for like 13, a long time. So this guy, I'm holding the fish. Someone handed me the fish and I'm walking to the car, to whatever it was, you know what I mean? To one of the next cars. In the middle of all this, a fire, a snowstorm. This guy screams, "How dare you steal from this house?" So my neighbor is behind me, turns around, loses her mind, is like, "Excuse me," she effing lives on the street and owns a home on the street. But it made me realize, no matter the situation, and as a firefighter, I was like, there's a fire going, and you're like, whatever, it was a vase with like a little fish, something like that.
Yeah.
So, and I was like, really? And so later, I got everything done. They were, I went over to my neighbor and said, "Thank you." She's like, and my neighbor has zero tolerance for that kind of crap. The one I used to live next to. And she said, "That's intolerable. There's a fire. A house is going down. We're trying to empty. And this guy's talking to you about, doing that?"
Yeah.
And it was a very eye-opening moment for me going, I've been followed up to my home, asking, do I own it? Like, I've had a point where I lived. I've had people banging on my car window, asking me what I am. Wow. I've had people follow me with cars. I had a very scary situation around that.
Yeah, Rachel, this stuff doesn't happen in America. It don't happen.
I was like, being sarcastic.
Yeah, I am, because it's crazy, because the things that you're listing out are things that me and my family have been through as well. And then when you tell certain people, you would never believe what happened to me. They don't freaking believe it, because it's right. So it sounds like you're like in another country or something. It sounds like you're not living in America, the place where they say is the home of the free and brave and all of that stuff. It's just, it's not like that for everybody. So I'm so glad that you're talking about this, because people need to know. People need to be educated about it.
I did a video that I had a really serious incident, and I was like, you know what, I'm going to use my voice. I'm going to take this country forward. I'm going to stand up against racism. And so I did a video the next day, and I was shocked because it ended up being 10,000 views, and it kept going and going. And I was like, this is what happened to me last night. And you could tell I had been crying all night, that I was exhausted because of what had happened. I said, I've got two ways I can handle this. Either I use my voice or I don't. Well, I'm not one of those people. I can't stand by and watch things happen, because then you and I become part of the problem. That's what happens.
Yeah. So this is. So you. I'm sorry. So is it healing for you talking about this kind of stuff?
It is. Because really, you and I both know it's a trauma. Yeah. That's what people don't. That racism is a trauma. That's what it is, and it takes time to heal from that. But I also here's the biggest lesson. Ready? I don't judge people. Okay, I don't do that. So if I had one bad racist experience with someone that does not represent the entire race of people, I don't do that.
That's good you said that.
I feel like that was one person. That one person doesn't represent the whole of society at all whatsoever.
I'm glad you said that, because I just thought about something. It seems like, and this is my opinion, this is what I noticed. It seems like we have, the things that happen to us because of the color of our skin, but then we have the exact. I didn't even know we were going to talk about race. I know. We're just talking. But then you have the opposite, to where, and I'm pretty sure you could relate to this, but you have the opposite, to where people are like hating white people because of it. And then you and we have people in our lives that are Caucasian that we love. I often, like, I tell my wife sometimes, like, damn, man, I feel like people hate white people because of hate. And it breaks my heart because not all white people are bad, just like not
No,
all black people are bad. Not all.
that's
Yeah.
exactly. You want to hear something funny? You'll appreciate this. Okay.
Yeah.
So we have a lot, we have adoption in our families. So I have African Americans in my family too, right? So a couple years back, I'll leave the name out of this. Okay. So my mom obviously is Caucasian. My aunt's Caucasian. My cousin is African American because they adopted children or older, right?
Mm-hmm.
We walk into a hotel. Okay, so you get an Indian, African American, two-way, and we're going up to register at the hotel. We were doing this fun family, girls getaway. The guy, and talk about employee training, right? This is LinkedIn. Don't do this. Train your employees. I'm going to say this right now. Goes, I'm sorry, who belongs to who? Yes.
Who belongs to who?
Who belongs? And so, like, my cousin and I are in the back. We look at each other. And again, my aunt's from New York. My mom's from New York. Like, we just looked at each other. I was like, oh, I want to see how they're going to answer this. Because to them, they couldn't understand, like, okay, wait, you've got this mom, and then her daughter's African American, and you got another mom, her daughter's Indian. Like, how, and we're one family. So when we go out to dinner, people are like, whoa, like, that's like really, really mixed.
Wow.
Yeah. So we're very mixed. So we stand in that space of our family is very mixed, and we believe on. And I know this. Trust me when I say I know what my family members have gone through the last year and a half. It's serious. So we were like, okay. Oh, thank you so much, Brandon. That was so nice.
Yeah, Brandon's a good brother. I was actually on the phone with him before we went live. He's a really good brother.
That's really, really nice. So, it's just it's saying like, okay, we're okay. Like, this is who we are. And this is why, Tony, like, I've been giving talks on diversity awareness for 15 years.
Wow.
Yeah. I want to be part of the solution. I had a friend who was a professor, and she said, Rach, I'd love for you to come and talk to my class. And that's how it started. I kept doing it. I volunteered with, like, the Navy. I've done talks through the Job Corps program in the Army. Churches, synagogues, everywhere to talk about this, to say, okay, this is how we take this country forward, and to not judge somebody. People don't think I'm Jewish. You should hear the comments that I hear when they turn around and go, I'm Jewish. And there's that look like, oh, you know what?
Wow. Wow, because they're stereotyping you off the bat.
Well, no, they'll make a Jewish comment, not thinking I'm Jewish. And then I turn around and go, I'm Jewish. And then they go, oh.
Yeah, it's amazing. Yeah, it's amazing. It's amazing to me how sometimes people will be at work, and I've heard stories. I've heard my wife come home and tell me, you wouldn't believe what this person said at work. Somebody would drop a racist comment thinking that everybody else in the workplace is racist, and they're like, oh, name call, but then look at everybody else like they're crazy because they're not agreeing with them. It's just I don't get it. It's like we've been conditioned to think and believe that everybody is a hater.
Well, here's the biggest problem. Ready? Bystander effect. Right?
Yeah.
I was kicked out of a place years ago. Ironically, let's talk about this because we're going on to the memorial, the anniversary of 9/11 next week. And I had an incident after 9/11, and to me, America became African American, Caucasian, and brown overnight. That's what happened after 9/11. You know what I mean? Like, So I was kicked out of a place, and it was probably like 100 people in line who stood there and did nothing. And I was going to meet people. right? And I happened to be the first one getting to this location. I was kicked out. They called the cops on me. The whole thing. There's 100 people.
For what?
I don't want to really get into the details of it, but
Yeah.
it was a very like raw situation after 9/11. And then my family showed up and was like, "What's going on? That's my daughter. What are you doing?" And the cop was so loving and wonderful, and she's like, "Rach, just go. I know what's going on right now. I know you're being profiled." She's like, "I absolutely know what's going on." She read my license. It was clear. I don't have anything. But the people stood there and did nothing. Did absolutely nothing.
That hurt. That made it hurt even more, huh?
Oh, and that's why I talk about it. Like, you are just as responsible if you are standing there and doing nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah. I had this woman was calling me brown girl, right? She did it twice. And you want to hear something funny?
A grown ass woman.
Yeah. And I would go in, pick up the product I needed. And first time she did it, and then I was like, and then it happened the second time. Hey, brown girl. And then here's the funny part of it. Guess what? Her boss, really good friend of mine. Like, really good friend of mine. And who also happens, this is the most ironic part of it, who happens at the time. And I didn't do it. I went in, and then one of my friends said, "You know what, Rach, you're teaching diversity awareness. Here's a teachable moment for this girl. Go back in there." I went back in there, and I said, she did it again. And I said, "Listen, you can only call me Rachel Beck, and that is it. And that's the way it's going to be." And she just looked at me. I said, "That is my name." But while this was going on, same thing, line, nobody did anything. No one said that it was okay for this person to refer. And this happened 22 years ago.
Damn.
And then I finally, because of my friend being her boss, I was like, I just politely said to him, you might want to work on diversity awareness training for your employees. He's like, "What are you talking about?" I'm like, "You might want to just give it a shot."
Wow.
Yeah, he would have been horrified. And I didn't want him to, I didn't want the girl to lose her job. But my friend's like, "March back in there and tell her who you are. And tell her that she can only call you by her name."
I like that. I think that's what we're going to call this episode when we drop it on Apple. You can only call me Rachel Beck. I like that.
Yeah, I was like, this isn't, why am I and I'm very freaking proud to be brown, man. I'm very proud to be brown. But the way she was saying it, it was a matter of disrespect. Like, wow. "Hey, brown girl." And I was like,
How do you go through all of that and continue to just give the way that you do?
Because I'm determined to make this world a better place.
Yeah.
I don't have children. You know that. I am beyond determined to make this world a better place. I've had my 3 moms, right? The one who died, the one who took me in before I was adopted.
Yeah.
So I have these 3 phenomenal women, right? And they all made a choice. My biological mom made the ultimate sacrifice for my life. So there's not a day that gets up that I don't think about them. I think about what they did for my life to exist, right?
Yeah.
So my legacy is attached. I have many things that I want to accomplish in my life. I want, my goal. We've talked about privately what I'm trying to accomplish with the orphanage.
Yeah.
So everything I do, I get up is about, I don't forget where I come from. India is my heart and my home, just like America is my heart. I'm an Indian American woman, and I'm proud of all those. So yeah, it matters to me. It matters to me that I'm doing my part. I had somebody die to give birth for my life to exist. I'm not going to waste it. And I've had my 3 near-death experiences. So someone was doing a research paper on me because she was doing ND near-death experiences. And I'd had the 2, and then the other incident, she was still writing the paper. And she said, "Okay, so now you're done. Your life was saved 3 times. Go live it. You didn't accomplish everything that you were meant to accomplish yet.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. You hit on it. You hit on it a little bit. I wanted to ask you a question as we close up. When it's all said and done, I've asked you this before, but Rachel is no longer here. What do you like truly want your legacy to be? What do you want us to say about you? What impact do you want to have on the world?
She did the best she could every day to make this world a better place.
Damn.
If you stand up at my funeral and say that, you're gonna make me cry now because of the experiences I've had of almost dying. So I've thought about this, right?
Yeah.
She did everything in her power to take this world forward. I might, by the day I die, I might not accomplish all my dreams. I'm freaking determined, so I'm hoping I do. But that she tried. That she tried every single day. That's what matters to me.
Damn. You're doing it. You're doing it, and I mean that. No, man, I mean that from the bottom of my heart. And I know, maybe there's some people that haven't heard about you, but I mean, you're freaking Rachel Beck. Yeah.
It's me, and I'll do a show with you anytime because, like I said, we just do we have fun conversations.
Yeah.
We talk about real life. We don't sugarcoat anything. We don't. It's just like a conversation between friends, and we're like, okay, this is real life. This is our reality, and I think it's good for people to see our conversations together because it's saying hey, this is real life for us. People think I shared with you off camera. People think this is, this has been one of the hardest years of my life for many, many reasons. Many, 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 many reasons. But I'm gonna get through, and I'm gonna get my network through this because I'm determined. Because I love them dearly.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, it's been, I would say, probably one of the hardest 2 years. Yeah, the hardest 2 years of my life, which is crazy because in my career, I never would have thought that my career would be to this point right now, especially with starting a new business. I started my business during the pandemic, and things that just went crazy. But outside of that, it seems like, I've lost people. I've lost people that are still living, and it's just this heartache, this pain. But it's people like you that are given, people like you that are loving, that helps me get through it and helps me love on other people. I was telling somebody the other day, they were talking about a video that I did, and this guy just called me out of the blue, and he was just like, man, I want to tell you that you made an impact on my life, and you made me feel and believe that I can get through anything. It was just something in your eyes, and I'm sobbing at this point, like that, not like that ugly freaking cry, but just on the inside, because I'm just it wasn't that yet, but it was inside. I could just feel it. And I told him, when I made that video, bro, I was going through one of the toughest moments in my life, and me talking about it and me getting it out and telling everybody else what I was going through in that moment was healing for me. And it sounds like that's what you do. You tell your story, you help people get through it, because you want to make the world a better place. But I feel like by you doing that is healing for you, healing for your soul.
Feel alone, right?
Yeah.
I don't want them to feel alone. So the people who are struggling with mental health, you and I are open about them. I will use my voice to end the stigma on mental health. I'm not ashamed that I have PTSD at all. I don't wish it on anybody. They didn't go through what I went through. So I'm trying to say, been there, I've survived it, and I know it was freaking hard for people. I know it's hard for people. And so I'm trying to say, okay, I know it's hard. I know it's challenging. You and I talk about Mother's Day and Father's Day, how I specifically do a post because for the infertility community or for the people who lost children. We were talking about that the other day. So it's saying, okay, yeah, I went through this. Now what do I do with it?
What do you do with it?
I take it to my network and say, okay, I know this is hard. I know it is. I've been asking people to be empathetic this last year and a half because how much people are hurting.
Yeah. No, I'm glad that you said that. I'm glad that you brought that up. We're talking about like Mother's Day and how people can be insensitive when it comes to holidays. And I would say the last two Christmases have been really hard for me. It's like, especially for me. I mean, because when it comes to Christmas and holidays, I love them. But these have been like hard, like so hard that I can't even fake it. Right. Can't even fake it. But I learned that in order to get through those moments and make those moments special, because they should be special, is sharing them with people that I care about, letting people know, hey man, I am fucking struggling right now.
Exactly.
Like, straight up.
You're gonna see something that I'm doing with a friend of mine that's gonna come out after Thanksgiving. Like that weekend, because we launch or we're beginning the holidays to address this, Tony. That's exactly to address this, and the people who, as you and I both know, holidays are triggers for a lot of people. It's not great and wonderful for people all the time. So I'm going to be addressing that.
I love it. How I'm sure I'm looking at the comments and stuff. I know my audience, they they love you. They freaking love you.
The comments. Can I see them?
Yeah.
I don't know how. Whoa, Brandon, you're awesome. We gotta learn more about Brandon.
I like that. They said they walked his ass out. I love it.
That's great. And that's how you do it, Brandon. Stand up for the people who. So if you show, I'll see. I can't. So thank you, everybody who tuned in. We are grateful and appreciative. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you, everybody. Thank you to you. How can my audience find you?
Just LinkedIn. You can
just LinkedIn. What about that book? I'm sure people want to buy that book.
It's on Amazon.
You never advertise it.
No, I don't. No. It's not like my book is there, and I'm donating part of the proceeds are going back, to India. That it's going back to the orphanage, part of it. So I have other things that I'm doing for the book, and I do interviews that are just based, on the book and things like that. But
that's cool. I think you're amazing. The reason that I brought that up was because
my deepest respect. That you have my deepest respect, and anything I can do for you and your family. And I loved the conversation I had with your daughters. That was so special.
Yeah. I'm glad you brought that up, man. They appreciated it. They appreciated it big time. And for the viewers, one thing that I think that's important, like you can tell your kids, you can tell your loved ones, the people that you're mentoring in your life, you can tell them so many different things, but like they're used to hearing it. It's almost like being at work and having your boss say, you make sure that you're on time, make sure you're on time, but you have somebody else from the outside come in and say, okay, this is the importance of being on time. And for this moment, Rachel was on time in my life because, man, my girls are talking about social media. They're talking about, wanting to do all of these things. And I'm just like, man, we have to be mindful of our privacy. And it was freaking bothering me. And Rachel, without a freaking thought, hey, get your girls on the phone. Let's talk to them. I brought them in here. We're all on Zoom. And she's talking to him. She's talking to him about her background and telling them stories to let that seep in. And that's what I love about, the unity and community, because that stuck with them and that's going to stick with them for the rest of their life. So I appreciate
Oh, well,
you for doing that.
I wanted them, to be safe, and to stay. Now that obviously you and your wife keep your family safe, but it, like you said, there's people we listen to other than our parents. I had those people in my life, so yeah, no, it's important. It's important. It's absolutely important to say, even if it keeps your daughter, so just having that kind of conversation. If they have more questions, I told them they're available, and I'll get on the phone with them. But yeah, it's crucial. It is crucial to keep
I'm
them
gonna leave
safe.
that up there for a little while. No,
I,
thank you, Brandon. I think he's talking about my smile.
nice.
All
So
right, we could close up. We can any
thank you,
parting
everybody.
words.
Thank you. Go out into this world and just be a kind human being, because people are hurting right now. That's all I ask. It's not that hard.
It's not.
People are hurting. Just be a kind human being.
It's not. Thank you. Thank you
You're
so much. I really appreciate you for doing that. You and I, we had some very, very good conversations. So I thought that it would be only fitting for everybody else to learn from you, because I don't believe in hogging information, but this has been very informative. And I love the person you are. I love the person that you encourage, the people that you're encouraging, and the people that, the type of person that you're encouraging them to be. Like, you embody joy. So I want to thank you for bringing joy in my life. Thank you for bringing joy in the viewer's life. And that's all I got. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Well, hang out really quick. Okay. I'm gonna put you back in the green room. That sounds fancy, don't it? Oh man, that was amazing. That was amazing talking to my dear friend, author, and global influencer, Rachel Beck. We got some really good interviews coming up next. I am interviewing tomorrow. Is that tomorrow? What's today? Man, my brain just freaking goes. But Friday, I'm interviewing Ahmad Ayman. Friday at 10 o'clock. It's going to be incredible. He is incredible, just like my friend Rachel. I'm interviewing all of my friends, and I'm not taking no for an answer, because I know that they're going to add value to you. I know that they're going to add value into your life, because that's what they're doing for me. Tune in tomorrow, 10 o'clock at night. I know it's late, but stay up. Hang out with me. Don't watch the Netflix. Come and watch the channel and hang out with me. Till next time. Take care.